Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. What's going on? I gotta get my audio working there. So let's see. That's not what I wanted to open up. It worked. All right. Well, how's it going, everybody? Well, they found, the bad news is they found the body of Juan. Sorry, it's kind of a long name, but Acevedo is the last name, in a pond. But the problem is like we would have, on the show, we would have looked to see if, for something like that, if they didn't seem so sure that he was abducted. They kept saying over and over he was abducted. They filed a Amber Alert, etc. But apparently these ponds are frozen over there, and this is the pond he was found in right here, this one. And kind of matches. I mean, remember how they were looking right there, and over here? So they must have evidence that he was walking in a particular direction and then he disappeared. And then because they got a ransom, request, they probably thought he disappeared, but now they went back to revisit. And is there another reason he just disappeared? And perhaps it's because he went into this pond. But apparently there's, possibly some other information out there regarding a stepdad or something, but we'll just not really look at it like that for now. So here's the press conference right here.
You okay, Alex?
Alex, we're ready.
Yep. Chief, what would you like to say?
Well, I don't want to start with good morning or good afternoon, because I come in front of you today with some tragic news, some awful news. As you know, we have been looking for a missing 12-year-old for the last 3 days, almost nonstop. As you know, our Marine Patrol was back out here early this morning checking the ponds. And a little bit earlier today, utilizing some new technology that we have received for sonar, we recovered a body that was approximately 8 feet under the water. That body matches the physical description and the clothing description that we have for Juan Acevedo. The body has been recovered, and the family has just been notified of these tragic situation. And I don't know that there's words to comprehend what has occurred today. We thank the media, we thank the community, because this has been a comprehensive effort to try to find this young man for almost the last 72 hours, and it's unfortunate that this is the outcome. Andy.
Chief, what role we've been going through a very cool period of time.
Yes.
What role did ICE play in this?
I think it played a big role because, I was over there for a while watching the recovery operations, and I talked to the Marine Patrol.
First I thought he was talking about ICE, like immigration, customs or whatever the hell it is, or immigration. What does ICE stand for? Immigration, yeah, whatever. But anyways, I thought that's what he was talking about. Because, it's weird is like in my mind when I keep looking at these pictures, it just doesn't seem like it would be icy. But I know it gets cold as hell over there.
And we were out here yesterday. I think you've all seen it. We've exhausted every possible resource that we have, from the bloodhounds from other locations, from Hampton Roads and VSP, our mounted patrols, everything that we have, we've put into play to try to find Juan. And we were out here yesterday and had drones overhead. But when the ice is 3 inches thick, it makes it incredibly difficult for us to see anything that's down there. And what I'll preface is we had no specific indication that these ponds were an area of interest, but we did not want to leave any stone unturned. And as you know, we've been investigating this as a possible abduction. It's been a very complex investigation with hundreds of officers and thousands of personnel time dedicated.
Was the searching of this particular body of water right now a product of a tip, or was it just making sure that every body of water was covered?
It was just being proactive, just checking every possible area. We had no specific intelligence or information that this might be an area of interest that we need to check, but based on the circumstances, we needed to find this young man, and we were going to leave no option off the table.
What's next now?
I think it's a period of grieving. It's a period of grieving for the family, and we will be there to support them. It's going to be
so just like I said yesterday, those ransom things could just be people trying to take advantage of the situation, right? So we don't know, and now it turns out that's likely what that is. I mean, how disgusting. Jesus. Thank you, Kami, and News Crasher.
A period of grieving for the community, because I think they have lived this shared experience with all of us for the last 3 days, and I think we have to look at also what it does to the officers.
Yeah, I mean, the pond apparently was 3 inches thick, so maybe he thought it was safe to go out there, and then it just collapsed.
Just pulled that young man.
It just looks like snow, maybe. Maybe he didn't even... I mean, who the hell knows, I have no idea. And it could be there's something else to this. I guess we'll have to check it out. Maybe somebody placed him there after something else.
From the lake and how that affects them. So the executive team and the community, we've got a lot of support to provide to a number of people.
Since this stemmed from an abduction, right, previous information that's what it was believed to be, are we now transitioning this into suspects, homicide investigation? Is it too early to tell?
Much too early. Anything that I will tell you would just be my gut supposition, and we have to go on facts. So right now we know we have a recovery. We will get the young man over to the medical examiner's office. They will tell us in fact what they believe to be the cause of death, and then we will reassess what we originally believed and then get that information out. But I think, like I know Jody gave a statement yesterday, we treated it like an abduction based on the information that we saw, just to make sure that we were giving its due diligence.
Is this believed to be an accident, or were there any injuries to him?
It's too early for me to speculate on that one. We just recovered him. So as we get more information and we can confirm facts, and not what we believe occurred. We will get that out to the community.
When I asked the question about ICE, I was.
I'm sorry.
When I asked the question about ICE, I was asking it in the context: could he have fallen through while walking on ice? But you are at what point telling us about ice and the cause of this?
I mean, is that a possibility, Andy? Absolutely, it's a possibility. But we deal in known facts. And until I can tell you definitively what we believe occurred, what I can report today is that we have a recovery.
With that ransom or the fraud scam, is that being investigated by police now?
It's still part of our investigation, and then we'll either unfound it, disprove it, or continue to investigate it to see if there's anything additional to it.
Can you comment on that? Because, I mean, obviously this family's going through a lot right now. And that is just so scummy to take that to someone, a victim.
Well, we know that this would not be the first time that type of scam has been perpetuated on a family that is going through difficult circumstances. Is that a possibility? It absolutely is. Is that one of our theories, that it was possibly a scam perpetuated on the family? Of course. But we would be negligent if we did not treat it as an actual threat, an actual kidnapping, until we know otherwise.
Have anybody seen anything about the pond freezing over during this weather? Did the pond ice up really bad? Anybody know?
At one point, they're telling me that it was up to 3 inches thick. Yes, ma'am.
Did you say that Juan was found with the same clothing that he was last seen in, or is just the description of him that matched, or is there anything else found?
It is my understanding that the clothing of the individual that we just pulled from the lake matches the clothing that Juan was reported last seen in. So,
another question about whether this was what else this could be. Is there any reason to believe that whatever was going on with trying to get money from the family, I think, for the folks at home, can you just give a quick wrap on that part of the story? And did they actually give $500 to someone?
That is my understanding, that during the original Facebook Live request for people that may have seen Juan to come forward, there was a request through social media communication for $500, which at some point either the family or someone on behalf of the family paid with no additional communication. We would be derelict not to continue to investigate that until we know otherwise.
Because someone got $500.
They did.
Is there a threat to
Do we know who that person could be?
We are still trying to follow that up, Andy. We don't know that yet. Unfortunately, because it involves out-of-state transactions, we need search warrants, subpoenas to try to identify who that individual was that received that money, and then work with those local authorities. And no, Alice, at this point, I don't think there's any threat. But what I can speak to is the facts. And with what recovered, what occurred here today, we still have a lot of investigation. I could tell you what my gut tells me, but let's stick to the facts.
Out of all cities, why do Virginia Beach respond so quickly when it comes to?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it'd be cool. I think his gut tells him that he fell in the water. But hey, guys, if you're out there and you're watching the channel and you want to help support the Gray Hughes Investigates YouTube channel that allows us to keep doing these shows, I would appreciate your guys' support. We're getting near the end of the month here and really just kind of limping in, so if you guys have the ability to, I would appreciate it.
Missing child.
I think we've learned some hard lessons, Rhoda, that we have to prioritize this, and that sometimes those missings do result in horrible circumstances, and I think it would be very hard on all of us to look at each other and look in the mirror if we didn't feel that we did everything under our power to bring that young person home. So
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, Chief. Do you want to share with us what your gut tells you?
Not at this time, Andy. I think we all have a certain feeling on what may have occurred, and I think maybe you alluded to it, but as the police, we deal with facts and not what we think may have occurred. So let me get some more facts, and then I will communicate that to all of you in the media so that we can get, I don't want to say closure, because how do you ever get closure on something this tragic, but some understanding. So I thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, there you go.
You okay, Alex?
Alex,
Hey, thanks, Linda Dees. I like the word Borkin, though. Sounds pretty good. Thanks, Carrie Spencer. Yeah, so anyways, I mean, it's just shitty. I'd rather have it be that, though, than a killer, wouldn't you? I mean, we don't know really so far yet, though, what the actual answer is, but...
And tonight, a heartbreaking update out of Virginia Beach. The body of a boy reported missing over the weekend was found today in a pond. An Amber Alert was issued for 12-year-old
See how it
Juan
looks?
Acevedo.
See that, right? That look right there? See, you could just be walking and you think it's ice, and then all of a sudden it's water, and you wouldn't really... There's no hole or anything, you see? It's just that one point it was thicker, so maybe he felt safe. Maybe he'd gone out on it before, but then it melted. And then he goes out there and he falls in and he can't swim.
Saturday, prompting a search from police and community members. NewsC reporter John Hood has been on this story all day and tells us where the investigation goes from here.
Virginia Beach Police Chief Paul Nunegate.
Yeah, so here's a picture of this same guy right here. You know, he's talking, right? And so now he's pointing at the pond. And then if we go to... you know, actually, hold on, let me stop it. Go to the 3D version of it. Now watch, I actually have it set up exactly how he is in that picture. See that? And then I pull this picture up, and there it is. There's that square there. See that? Even that little roof back there. See that little point? And then the tree. So there's that little roof back there, the tree, the square, you know, so this is exactly, this is the pond that he was found in right here. So when you look at that, right, that's how I was able to figure out the pond, is that one shot that guy had. And so that's just right here, you know, right where they were looking with the dogs. See, they were right there, they were looking in this area. And they apparently thought he was abducted based on the information somebody asking for. But then why were they looking around here with their dogs? Seems like one of the first places you might look, perhaps, would be a pond if you're thinking that they're lost. But I think they kind of went with... I mean, I wonder what made them revisit the area. They must have realized that the... maybe those people were just scammers, you know. So that's it. I don't really have anything else. I mean, I can go back and play the rest of whatever this guy's saying here.
He questioned, how do you get closure on something so tragic after the body of 12-year-old Juan Acevedo was found in this pond Monday afternoon? A tragedy that many in our community say is heartbreaking. Tears run down Amanda Randall's face as police pull a body out of a pond outside of a Virginia Beach apartment complex.
Sad. I was really sad.
Amanda was just one of many stepping up to try and help find Juan Monday morning by handing out flyers and canvassing the area where he was last seen.
We're just trying to do our part as a community. It may be something, it may be nothing, but we couldn't sit at home anymore and do nothing and just wait for this kid to be found.
Unfortunately, what happened Monday afternoon was not the result anyone wanted. Virginia Beach police confirmed the body pulled out of the pond is that of Juan Acevedo. While there is no word yet on if Juan's death was an accident, police are still investigating all the factors, including a possible scam the family may have also fallen victim to.
During the original Facebook Live request,
That's just sick. You know?
for people that may
And that gave hope to the mother, that if she just paid the $500, she'd see her kid again. And these people knew that they didn't have the kids; they just wanted a quick $500.
have seen Juan to come forward, there was a request through social media communication for $500, which at some point either the family or someone on behalf of the family paid.
As police investigate how Juan died, a community is thinking about his family.
We never hope it end like this. So just prayers for the family and keep them in prayer.
Amanda tells me in the coming days she's hoping to hold a candlelight vigil for Juan, but she wants to give his family some time to grieve. In Virginia Beach, I'm John Hood, News 3.
News 3 is committed to staying on top of this story.
Yeah, there you go. That was it for that. Hey, thank you, Ozzy, Trisha, and Supa Soda. Well, what? I mean, you've been here forever, Supa Soda, right? I mean, from like the heyday, from the beginning. And yeah, no problem. Thanks. Hey, we just beat yesterday already. Wow. Amazing. And we also have the Buy Me a Coffee thing if you're not really into super chats. Buy Me a Coffee is a good way to support the channel. I get to keep it a little bit more, you know. Yeah, you've been here since, I think, like when I would do like Kanika Jenkins and stuff, right? I mean, that's way back then. That's the case I have like my only viral video in. It's got like 2 million views, which is crazy, you know. Yeah. Walker Homestead, 45 months. Thank you. How do you know? How do you know, Karen? We don't know if there's a lot more to this story. All we know is that he drowned, and then somebody, as happens almost like all the time, that somebody will take advantage of the situation. If there was somebody that abducted him, why would they put him right back in? I mean, they were right there in the pond. You know, this was just something. There's a kid missing, and people were looking for the kid, and really quickly somebody tried to cash in, and it worked. Oh yeah, you've been around since the beginning? Awesome. Yeah, I remember your name familiar too. I mean, what makes you think there's a lot more to the story? Who makes a ransom note be an app where it can be traced? Well, they haven't traced it down yet. You know, they could have just been some foreign company, a place somewhere where the person just got the quick 500, boom, you know, got sent to like a PayPal, and boom, you know, it's done. I don't know. I just don't think it'd be strange for somebody to abduct somebody and then bring him back and throw him in a pond and then still try to get the money. I don't know. What do you explain what you think, Karen? Let me hear it. Hello. Did she say hello to you, Daphne? Jesus. Okay. I guess she's not going to answer. Well, I gave you your time to answer. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was a long time ago, Daphne. All right, let's see. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have any more on this one. And apparently Karen doesn't either. But I'm going to go back. Yesterday we were doing that one in Hawaii, and I actually went back and found the route. After the show, I went back through slower and was able to find all the different stuff. Plus, I wanted to do at the same time, compare it to what the girls did in the Delphi case. Right, Daphne, but you've kept it going by me having to keep communicating with you. Hey, Missy Six, how's it going? I just asked a simple question. Let's see. Monte. I think it was this one. Right here. Is that the one? Yeah, the next page. I think you have to go to 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe. Yeah. So that was the one. Starting right there. So this is the route right here. I don't know, were you guys here yesterday? So there's Don Bustamante and an individual named McCoy. Sherry Vertigo McCoy. Yeah, that's a perfect app to use to trick somebody. Karen, it's perfect. Oh, jeez, what happened? Oh, there it is. The stupid little pop-up window on the side is driving me nuts. Hey, thanks. Ann Davis. I don't know if they did or not. News Crasher. That used to be something we could do over here, but not anymore. Yeah, so in this case we have Sherry McCoy and her friend Bustamante were just hanging out. They were like staying over at Bustamante's house over in this area. And then they were just going to go to the store over here, just walk over there. It's not really far. Over to the store, and then right around in this area, a car drove up, talked to them, and then sort of just went back, and then it came up behind him again and started talking. And then he pulls out a gun, and then they were headed to that market right there. But then he continued, drove them all the way just like this. So it's pretty wild little route. And then he took this little left right here onto Kappa Quarry Road, so Quarry Road, and then around, all the way around like this. And then this is, I think, where the old drive-in movie theater used to be, and it kind of looks exactly like maybe that's what it used to be. Who knows? I mean, you can see soccer field there, but maybe it used to be a drive-in movie theater. So it comes around, and then it goes through this intersection. Then it goes onto that one road that we were talking about that they've closed because so many people have died on it. And then, it pulled into a little cul-de-sac. And remember how she said she went down the hill and went right to the clubhouse? Well, that sort of feels like, maybe that little turnaround's right in there. We just don't get to look at street view to see it. There is street view, but it's only way over, like way up above there. It's not right here. You can't see it. Alright. So I want to do this again and then compare it to like the Delphi case as we're reading it. Because I think it's absolutely, I mean, it's just ridiculously similar. It's crazy. Just the one part here. So you could almost just go, we'll just use this. I just want to see. And I think it's interesting because this is a case where one of the people lived, and you get to hear what they were feeling and thinking. Yeah, I mean, it's all, I think it's like as close as you can get to another case. You know, it's obviously not related in terms of you know, what happened. Hold on a second. I mean, it's not related in terms of the killer, not what happened. All right. So here we go. It says it was Friday, March 14th, 1975, and McCoy was staying overnight at Bustamani's house. Boy, doesn't that sound familiar. So you got Abby staying overnight at Libby's house. And so this would be like Abby is McCoy and Bustamani is Libby. It was 8 p.m., a beautiful tropical night, and the two girls were walking to Kalapawai Market. They were hoping to meet up with friends when a late 1960 Plymouth Valiant, headed in the other direction, slowed as it passed the girls. And by the way, hey Daphne, how's it going? I was just asking you a question. You don't need to get so like freaked out. Because I saw the chat, I didn't realize somebody said something to you a half hour ago. Let's see. But look, don't you think that's crazy though? Just even that part right there. I mean, look at this whole damn thing. It's just wild. A beautiful tropical night. I'm going to make a video on this, by the way. And the two girls were walking to Kalapawai Market. They were hoping to meet up with friends. So you can almost think that, you know, the bridge is the market. And they were hoping to meet up with friends. Okay? Remember, one of them even got a hold of Bree, and she said, oh, we left 10 minutes ago. They were hoping to meet up with friends when a late 1960s Plymouth Valiant headed in the other direction slowed as it passed the girls. So this would be them passing Richard Allen when he was standing at the start of the bridge. Now, if I say Richard Allen, the wackadoodle pro-Richard Allen nutjobs out there will get offended, even though he's been convicted by a jury of his peers. You know, where are all those same people who, when you said, Gray, he's innocent until proven guilty. Well, he was proven guilty. That's why he was voted 12-zip. Okay? But now there's a lot of people trying to make their money, you know, their sort of fame off of, going to sell the Delphi case as being, oh, look at it, it's really strange, there's this weird stuff going on, blah, 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 blah. Because there's no angle from the other side. You get it? There's no angle. If you pick the Richard Allen did it side, what you have are updates and, you know, different court filings. If you think Richard Allen is not guilty, then you're out there, you can make video after video with all kinds of crazy stuff. In fact, it gives you just tons of content. But here's what's wild, is none of these people really spent a lot of time looking for this elusive other killer. They spent a lot of time pretending there's another killer. That's it. Nobody goes out and tries to find the killer. They just pretend that there's this other killer. Oh, yeah, my God, this Westfall guy. What about What about Brad Holder? Oh my God, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It just gets so old. These people were all looked into. Anyways, I digress. Now, they were hoping to meet with friends when a late 1960s Plymouth Valiant headed in the other direction, slowed as it passed the girls. So that's right when the girls got to the bridge, and he probably passed them. Dee Dee said she thought the guy driving the car was a friend of her mother and went across the street to talk to him. So maybe, like in the Delphi case, a lot of people thought maybe they said something to the guy when he was at the beginning of the bridge, and then later he became the creepy guy. When she realized it wasn't her mother's friend, she came back to the side of the street where I was waiting. The two girls resumed walking. This is them walking across the bridge to the market, and the car continued towards Lanakai. A few moments later, the driver turned around and pulled onto the shoulder to talk to the girls. So this would be when he's approaching on the other end of the bridge. He's just about to catch up to them. He says hi. A few moments later, the driver turned around and pulled onto the shoulder to talk to the girls, right? So that's him saying, hey guys, like that. We were between the Lanakai boat ramp and what used to be Camp Kalani, McCoy said. Dee Dee walked up to the car and looked in, and the driver asked us where we were going. Like, that's right there at the end of the bridge, this whole thing right here. The way he was looking at us made my intuition kick in, and I thought to myself, this is eerie. And that was probably the feeling that Abby and Libby had the entire time he's walking across the bridge. Oh, God, what's this guy doing? What's this guy doing? The man tried to strike up a conversation, she said. And this is McCoy, the lone survivor, the lady in the picture there. He asked if the girls needed a ride. They said no. The next thing I know, he pointed a gun at us. Guys, down the hill. Remember? Abby says, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. Right there. That's exactly what this is right here. Next thing I know, he pointed a gun at us, telling us to get in his car. McCoy said, my first reaction was to say something like, you've got to be joking. Her reaction angered the man who threatened to kill them if they didn't get in the car. So down the hill, now he's got a gun on him, and he's likely threatening to kill Abby and Libby to get them to do what he wants them to do. Her reaction angered the man who threatened to kill them. Right. I thought about running, McCoy said. Remember? Mike Patty even said, the girls likely had an opportunity to run, but they stayed together. I thought about running, McCoy said. But he seemed to figure out that was my plan, and he got very, very angry. In that situation, you're young and you're shocked, and from that moment on, it's surreal. Say, isn't that crazy? That's exactly the same. This is in Hawaii, back in 1974. I mean, this is like, when I was reading it, I was getting chills because it was like, this is like the same freaking story, you guys. I mean, it's just a little different. In terms of like they were picked up in a car. Although the defense team would think, wow, this is exactly the same. It just wasn't, it really was a car, and it wasn't. McCoy got into the back seat on the passenger side. And by the way, let's see. How many coffees do we got here? We only have one coffee, you guys. Can we get some more coffees going? I'm going to need to get some coffee to stay awake. I had to sit at a freaking... get my car fixed today. Well, it wasn't really fixed. The oil, and then I wanted to see why my gas mileage isn't that great. And then they put horizontal roof rack on it because I've got if I ever do this kayak fishing thing at some point in my life, I got to have something to put it on. But I would appreciate your guys' support with some coffees. I know times aren't the greatest right now. All right. So I thought about running, McCoy said, but he seemed to figure out that was my plan. So you can just picture this as Richard Allen and these girls. He got very, very angry in that situation. You're young and you're shocked. And from that moment on, it's surreal. McCoy got into the back seat on the passenger side. Bustamante got into the front passenger seat. So this is like them just walking. He's behind them, forcing Abby and Libby to walk. The driver took off, passing the market, and continued along Kalahio Avenue. He turned left onto Makapu Boulevard, turned left again on Quarry Road, and then right onto it's hard to say. Kalaniana Ole Highway of the old Kalua drive-in theater site. We were saying things like, "Why are you doing this? We don't even know you." I mean, you could see Abby and Libby saying the same shit. "Why don't you just let us go? He just raised the gun and pointed at us." And I thought, okay, he means business. I mean, doesn't this almost sound like I've said Hawaii like 10 times. Doesn't this sound like this could be almost written? Like if one of the girls had survived, it would sound similar. Just past Castle Junction, the driver veered onto Keoneola Road. "I started praying," McCoy said. I was a good Catholic girl. "Please, dear Lord, just let me get out of this mess." We ended up below the poly tunnels. It's all rainforest there, dark, deserted, no lights. So now they're like across the creek. I remember thinking, okay, this is it. This guy is taking us to the remote area. I guess they're still walking at this point. I'm just comparing it to Abby and Libby. So Abby and Libby are still walking. "I'm going to die tonight," she thought. McCoy said the driver backed his car into a cul-de-sac, ordered the girls out. Now this is probably like, you could consider this crossing the creek. Ordered the girls out, then ordered Bustamante to get in the back seat and McCoy to get in the front seat. Then he assaulted her while I sat in the front seat. So in the back seat, Bustamante was being assaulted and McCoy was in the front seat. Then he jumped in the front seat and told me to take my clothes off. I mean, geez, at gunpoint, this is what Abby and Libby, same thing. Just then a car came down Keoneola Road from the other direction, and the driver holding them captive, let's see, got nervous. So just then a car came down. So isn't this weird? This is like the van. I mean, the whole thing is crazy, right? Just then a car came down Keoneola Road from the other direction, and the driver holding them captive got nervous and started the car, McCoy said. She believes a group of young people in the other car had intended to park in the same spot and party. Eventually, the other car went on its way, and the man holding the two girls, this is like the newspaper sort of repeating what McCoy was saying. The man holding the two girls turned off his car. He ordered them out to walk into the bushes. So this is like, oh, there's a van. Now he has them cross the creek, and now he has them go into, this is, the Delphi case. He's having them cross the creek, and now he, brings them to the other side. Hey, thanks, Super Soda, for the coffee. All right. I mean, don't you guys find this startling? How similar this is? I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, wow, what are the odds? And then there's a car, So let's do that part again. Just then a car came down Keoneola Road from the other direction, and the driver holding them captive got nervous. Started the car, McCoy said. She believes a group of young people in the other car had intended to park in the same spot and party. Eventually, the other car went on its way, and the man holding the two girls turned off his car. He ordered them out to walk into the bushes. So that's across the creek. Now he's taking them somewhere. She led the way, meaning Bustamante, and I was right behind her, McCoy said. So imagine that. He's behind both of them. You know, you got Richard Allen with a gun forcing Abby and Libby to do what they're doing. He told us, "You can stop now." Boom. So right when you get across the creek, underneath the 50 feet in, you could see that girl's being told that. "You can stop now." And I remember thinking to myself, oh God, now he's going to kill us. I mean, you got to admit, that's exactly what Abby and Libby would have been thinking right at that exact second. I mean, this is almost ridiculous, really. I mean, the kidnapper hit Bustamante, so that would be Libby. The kidnapper hit Bustamante in the head with the gun, knocking her to the ground, McCoy said. When he did the same to McCoy, you know, that's this lady telling her story, she pretended to lose consciousness, hoping he would leave. So this would be Abby in this story. Hoping he would leave. Instead, he knelt down next to me, placed the gun next to my head, and started to strangle me. So, I mean, the only difference in the story really is the strangulation versus knife. Yeah, no, it's just you got a guy with a gun, you can force people to do stuff, but it's weird how similar it is. The kidnapper hit Bustamante in the head with the gun, knocking her to the ground, McCoy said. When he did the same to McCoy, so she got hit in the head too, she pretended to lose consciousness, hoping he would leave. Instead, he knelt down next to me, placed the gun next to my head, and started to strangle me. So what he was going to do was knock him out first and then strangle them to death. That's crazy. McCoy said, but by the grace of God, at that point, it's kind of weird to say, you know, by the grace of God, the other person got killed, so I lived. But anyways, but by the grace of God, at the point I was seconds away from dying from the strangulation, Dee, that's Bustamante, became conscious again. She woke up from after she was hit in the head and looked over and started running. So Bustamante woke up, looked over at her being strangled, and started running. He looked over to where she was standing, cursed at her, and started running after her. So that's the thing, in the Delphi case, likely if one of them had tried to run, you know, maybe one of them would have lived because it would have given a, you know, it's just, they stuck together, though, instead, you know. But one of them may have lived if one of them started running. It's hard to say, though, because a lot of times you're in a lot of, you're just so panicked in your mind. I took 3-step deep breaths. So Dee became conscious again, looked over, and started running. He looked over to where she was standing, cursed at her, and started running after her. I took 3 deep breaths. So this is after he released, you know, quit strangling her, and ran back to Poly Highway, the way we had come in. A few minutes later, she heard the shot and realized the ordeal wasn't over. I heard the car coming back down the road towards me. I went as deep into the bushes as I could go and waited for the car to go past. It did, and I had to choose what to do. Do I run back up the hill and try to help my friend Dee, or do I go back down the hill and get help? Or go down the hill and get help? McCoy remembers being totally disoriented and sliding down a hill towards a light at what turned out to be the parking lot at the Poly golf course. There, she said she asked an older man who was a caretaker to use the phone. My hair was a mess. My clothes were torn, and body, and my face was bruised, McCoy said. But he brought me in, sat me down, and gave me a glass of guava juice. The first call McCoy made was to Bustamani's father. The second was to police, who took her back to the cul-de-sac where the two girls had been ordered out of the car and into the bushes. It says pushes. I was scared, but more than that, I was hoping they would find her, McCoy said. I was hopeful she would still be alive. Those hopes ended soon after she heard one of the police officers shout, "Here she is!" McCoy was taken to the Kanaole police station and questioned until 5 a.m. the following morning. It would be years before any charges were filed in the case. And they're actually filed against a person that, well, they tested the DNA against him years later and it wasn't his. But the story was so accurate that whoever told the story might have something to do with it. But anyways, see, that's what's crazy about this story. Is like in this case, it's absolutely identical, just a different place, different, there's a car involved. But in this one, you have one of the two people is a survivor, is living. And they were able to say what it was like. And I think it's sort of a valuable, don't you think that'd make a pretty cool video? And just kind of, as it's taught, as you're reading this, you're just kind of talking about Delphi and then each of the locations, and just sort of like that's how it is, you guys. Because I think that's probably the most accurate, the closest case I've seen, especially in the double homicide or attempted homicide. This one would be a single homicide, but one was, likely could have been or should have been killed by that guy. She just got really lucky. All right. Well, you guys, we're currently at about, our normal, when we used to have goals in here. We're currently at like 1/6. So if you guys can help support the channel, I'd appreciate it. We're just trying to get into the end of the month so I can give something. At this point, we're really, I don't know. I guess we'll see how donation night goes, but yeah. So there you go. That's all I had on that one. Two girls with ease. Yeah, it's pretty easy for them. A gun allows somebody to do whatever they want. You just say, hey, do this, and people tend to do it because you've got a gun on them. So, I wonder if Bustamani also faked that she was knocked out. It's not like, the movies makes it seem like you conk somebody on the head with a gun and you just automatically you're knocked out. Like she could have been alive, too. I don't know what that means, movies. It would have been over a year ago for sure. What? This case, or what do you mean? Never hear this. Oh, come on, Lacey Lau. Jesus, come on. Don't be overly dramatic, I'm sure they wouldn't mind hearing about it. That there's another case that's sort of similar. It's not. They've had all these thoughts in their mind the whole time. Those are the virtue signaler type comments. Let's see. Would have been over a year ago for sure. Is my brain scrambled or didn't we? Yeah, yesterday, movies. Yeah. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, we covered it yesterday, yeah. I think I'm going to make a video, though, comparing these two. Just starting right there, go around. And, just kind of basically use the Delphi case. You'd almost not even know, other than a few different elements, you wouldn't know it was not talking about it. You guys here? Anybody here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yesterday was the only time I ever covered it. It's right there. So, any chance of trying to reach a goal tonight, you guys? It doesn't sound like it. I give up, man. Oh, jeez. Well, you guys want to do the old newspaper.com? Maybe try to find another case kind of like that, or... Yeah, that's the one where you send in super chats, you throw in something, we look it up. Try to find an interesting old case to talk about on newspapers.com. Maybe somehow we'll get the ball rolling in here. I don't know. All right, so in this one, maybe we could try to find something similar. Try to find a case that's sort of similar between, like how about we put like 1960 and 1995, right there. All right, who's gonna be first? Let's try to find another case with 2 people abducted. No, I haven't done that. I just explain it out loud, Tom. I mean, the thing is those girls were at the Freedom Bridge at 12:15, and they walked all the way to the Monon High Bridge. Hey, thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. They walk all the way to the Monon High Bridge, and then they walk... Then, that's at 12:43, and then at 1:26, they're at the benches, right? So they cleared the entire trail of Richard Allen on his second story. I thought there was one at 12:15 that they mentioned at... There's a 12:43 at the bridge, Monon High Bridge. I thought at trial he said 12:15. I'm just reading notes, so you were there, so... I probably should do that, though. I could easily make something like that. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, if you remember 12:28, I think I remember 12:15. So I guess we're gonna have to try to. He said it in closing arguments, because I messaged them. I said, "Hey, you guys, listen. The girls cleared the bridge on Richard Allen's second story. That he said he got there at noon and left at 1:30. He clears the bridge. I mean, the girls clear the bridge, that whole trail, and he wasn't there. The only time they saw him was after 1:26 when they were leaving. So it proves that he lied in his interview when he said he got there at 12 and left at 1:30. It's virtually impossible. And so, why would he lie like that? Well, because he he knew that he already told him he was there that day when he was being interviewed. The first time he got interviewed was on the 16th of February 2017, and that was because, in my opinion, he saw a picture of himself in the papers. They had released the image the day before of Bridge Guy and said, we'd like to talk to this person. And he went in and he didn't say, well, that's me. He said, he just went in and said he was there that day. Now, I always say that if he'd been shown a picture, that same picture that day, he would have admitted that was him. And you would just say, yeah, that was a trail camera. And he would say, yeah, that was me, yeah. And then the case would have been over right then. But that's not what happened. But he came forward that next day because he was trying to get ahead of the story and see what the police had. Just kind of, he thought he was going to be, I mean, there's a picture of him now. The 3 girls saw him, the 3 that he saw. There's 4 girls. They saw him. And I think that, he just wanted to get ahead of it. And then years later, when he's brought back in again, he knows that he had already admitted that he was there. But now he changes the time to 12 to 1:30, which is verifiably false. He did get there at 1:30, and he said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30 originally. I guess he originally said 1 to 3, and then he shifted it to 1:30 to 3:30 in the same conversation, right? Then, yeah. Well, I mean, even 12:28 works though, right, Tom Weber? I mean, even if it's 12:28, it only takes 11 or 12 minutes to walk to the bridge, but those girls were just really kind of, I mean, they weren't moving quickly. That's right. The Betsy Blair loops. Yeah, that's right. So she did one from 12:02 to 1:15 and didn't see him. Right, there you go. Yeah, I think there's no chance that he was there from noon to 1:30. I mean, somebody would have seen him. And by the way, his description when he came in matches seeing, the older sister and the younger sister. Plus, when he got to the bridge, he was standing on platform 1, and that's exactly where Betsy Blair said he was standing. Right? So it's, and he couldn't have gotten out of there either. So like when he gets in, we kind of have the same. I saw you said something the other day. It was sort of similar. Like I always have him at about 1:33, 1:34 at the Freedom Bridge spot where he passes the girls. It takes 11 minutes walking pretty briskly to get to the bridge. So that would put him at the bridge at about 1:44. And then Betsy Blair gets there at 1:47 at the parking spot and then goes onto the trails. And Richard Allen would have had to sprint it down the trail to get past her where she wouldn't have seen him. I mean, I don't even know if he'd be like Carl Lewis. He'd have to just, right? So that's him. That's the thing is the case for me is over in the probable cause document. It's so damning. He's absolutely locked in as Bridge Guy by the time you say down the hill. And that's why I always think it's amazing. There's so many people that always ignore the significance of it, and they go, well, Betsy Blair described somebody else. And I go, well, people don't describe things very well, especially when they're not told to remember something. Like, hey, everybody, remember what that person looked? And by the way, it happened to me today, you guys. Check it out. When I was waiting for my car, I went over to get something to eat, and there was these 2 people in there while I was walking, and guess what they were? They were just sort of like, there's little screens you can order stuff on. They weren't doing anything. Weren't buying anything. And then they sit down, and then a police cruiser drove by, and one of them ducked and went, hey. He ducked down. And then I walk outside, and I was walking a little bit, and I go, you know what? Shit, I called 911. I said, you know what? If you go back to, I think it was Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, if you guys go back over there, there's these guys in there that absolutely were hiding from police officers. Why don't you go check it out? And then I started walking down the road after that, and then when I was on the 911 call, they said, what were they wearing? And I go, oh, shit. I didn't think of trying to remember what they were wearing because I had left and then called you guys. But I think it was a dark, I think if I would have remembered exactly what they were wearing had I been thinking I'm going to call 911 in a minute. Okay? And then it turns out there was a city worker, and I go, hey, I just called 911 about these people. Do you think they'll show up? And they go, right there at that, because right next to the Kentucky Fried Chicken is a bus station. He goes, oh, that's where all of the people get dropped off that are loitering downtown. Almost every one of those people has a warrant for their arrest, etc. Well, you got to, it was pretty good. It was extra crispy. It was pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, Betsy Blair, and let me show you guys this. So let's see, a lot of people, you heard it at trial, right? She turned around at the barricade, not the bridge. So guess what? Originally, when she said 50 feet, on my show, I went like this. Okay, here's platform 1. I took this measuring out and went right from here to there, and you get, in feet, you get, it's 53 feet. So I figured, okay, so you went to the start of the bridge, saw him on platform 1, and turned around. But that isn't what happened. She said she got to the barricade and saw him on platform 1. And look at this. So here's the barricade. You can see the little shadow of it right there. And now you go to platform 1, and you've got, well, that's 116 feet that time. So that's way further away than what Betsy Blair said. And you can easily just say, yeah, the brown hair that she saw was the brown hat that Richard Allen was wearing. Okay, and not only that, the person she saw was the person in Libby's video. Okay, so it just kind of proves that her memory wasn't great. She wasn't told to remember something. And so that's how I look at that. So they always use Betsy Blair as this big, oh God, it's a huge obstacle. It isn't, because Richard Allen himself said when he got to the Freedom Bridge, he saw those other, when he saw the girls, he went to the Mononhigh Bridge, and that puts him there at about 144. And so that means Betsy Blair has to see him. There isn't this other, like he ran into the woods and somebody else came out wearing the exact same clothing. And then, he sort of went back. By the way, Betsy Blair clears the trails after that. She walks all the way down, and this time she doesn't go down the 505. I think she was a little bit I think she got the creeps from Richard Allen a little bit. So she didn't go down the 505, which was part of her natural loop. This time, for example, her normal loop was like this. She'd park her car here, walk to the Mononhigh Bridge, come up here, and then walk partially down 505, then back up here, then to the Freedom Bridge, and then back this direction and to her car. That would be a loop. And it's funny because I have always said that she went to the Freedom Bridge after she walked this direction. And that was just luck on my part, but I didn't realize that some of her other trips she would go this way. But anyways, she went this direction. And if you just look at it, it takes 11 minutes to go from here to here. So let's just say she passes. Okay, so she gets there at 147. Let's just say 154. She runs into Richard Allen right here. And then 11 minutes later is, let's see, 205. Right here. 205 right there. And then it's not 11 minutes back to here, but it's about 7. So that'd be like 212. And then look at that. 214 she's driving by right there. I mean, that's how it was so clear to me. I go, man, she did go to the Freedom Bridge back in the day. Because look at that. Look how perfect that is. So 205 to here. Yeah, 205 to there. And then it's not 11. It's about 6 minutes back. Or not 205. What the hell time have I got? 156 plus 11 is 2. Oh, was that 207? Is that right? Or 206? 207, right? Or I guess 5. My math sucks. Right this second. 206. And then about 6 minutes to get back to here because it's 11 to get to there. And then she gets in her car and then at 2:14 drives away. I mean, could you see anything more perfect timing than that. It's just unbelievable. And so that whole time that Betsy Blair's walking, she didn't see Richard Allen. All right. And now if Richard Allen, after he was at the bridge here, started walking this way, surely Betsy Blair, after going here on the way back, would have ran into him, but she didn't. And not only that, when you're right here, as Weber, who's been there also, I mean, if you're right here, you can see all the way to about right there as the road turns a little bit, the path. So from there, she didn't see him at all. So that means Richard Allen is still, like, over here somewhere. And the reason nobody else sees him again is because he's over here at the crime scene and he's killing Abby and Libby. All right, so there you go. That's how I look at it. I mean, if I was on a jury and I was only given the information that was in the probable cause document, he'd be guilty as hell. And as a matter of fact, that's kind of what the jury used. They didn't use and every time I tell the story, I just did it again, I forgot to mention a bullet at the crime scene. I forgot to mention Sarah Carbaugh, and none of those jurors used any of those people at all. None of that. The bullet, Sarah Carbaugh, nothing. They said that they believe Richard Allen is bridge guy, and then after that, everything just falls into place. There you go. Yep. Hey, Tom. I'm probably the most trolled YouTuber that there is out there. I get every time, it seems like whenever you do something, if I ever show up on something that you're on or somewhere else, these people show up out of everywhere. Yeah, man, it's just it's unreal, really. It's kind of depressing. So, yeah, Betsy Blair has a photographic memory. Had her produce a 10 out of 10 in her mind. I don't think she has a photographic memory at all. Did she say that? I think she's got an imagination. And I think she remembered exactly the same way that other people remember things, that where you're not supposed to remember something. You're just like, oh, hey, what does this somebody look like? Like right now, if somebody asked me what the lady at McDonald's looked like, I'd say she was white, wearing, not McDonald's, at Kentucky Fried Chicken. She was white, probably about 5'4", a little heavy set. That's really about it. I couldn't give you any more. Yeah, and she wasn't 50 feet. She was 110 plus feet. I think that's significant. I actually messaged that over to the prosecution. I said, you send them an email, they don't ever respond to anything, but I said, hey, Betsy Blair was 110 feet, not 50. That's a massive difference. It's huge. And I've been there, and I know where the barricade is, and it's really far away. I mean, platform 1, it's not really far, but it's far enough where you're not going to get any detail at all off of somebody's face. There's no chance. I even have it right here. Let's take a look at it. I've got a whole bunch of great videos that people did a long time ago for me at the beginning. These are from March of 2017. If I can find it. Yeah, so it's Bonnie videos, and yeah, I mean, this is like the quintessential video that I always use, because I think this is kind of about what it looked like on, like, this is like 4 weeks after the murders right here. And that's exactly what it looked like. Now, if Richard Allen was sitting on that bench there, Betsy Blair would have seen him. Yeah, there's no chance she wouldn't have seen Richard Allen sitting right there. It's just wide open. She would have, yeah, there's a guy wearing a blue jacket who's sitting on a bench. No, but anyway, she turned this direction, and she goes all the way down. And look how far. Look. By the way, let's just do that part. So right after you turn, this is where Betsy Blair is when she goes back to her car. Right here. So we're on the little path that. So right now, look how far she could see down there. Don't you think when she was walking back the other 40 feet prior, she'd be looking down the path and would have seen, oh yeah, there's that guy that I just saw on the bridge a minute ago. She didn't, because he's not there. Right? Now you walk all the way down here, and this is where it curves, right here. And I'm just going to go all the way to the end. So let's go all the way to the barricade. So there's where the barricade is. Right there. Boom. There's part of the barricade in the upper right. Do you think you're going to see somebody really clearly on that platform over there? Like, oh yeah, it was a handsome guy. It was skinny with brown hair. And I mean, give me a break. Yeah, that's way over there. I mean, imagine the person would probably be about this tall over there. I just want you guys to look at that and tell me what you think about that. I think I'm gonna start. I gotta start making these like 10-minute videos with all the different points, just so people have some sort of reference. It's amazing how they don't. But hey, guys, if you could help support the channel tonight, we got the end of the month coming up here. We frozen again. No, you can't make out somebody's. And by the way, he's not even really. Well, what she did say was, it looked like he was waiting for somebody, but she wasn't the one that he was waiting for. And which is an interesting comment, because then you sort of wonder, did he know that Abby and Libby were going to be there that day? And if he did know they were going to be there that day, how did he know that? Yeah, she did say at trial what I just said. She said it looked like he was waiting for somebody. She just wasn't the one. And then if you dovetail that with what, Bree and Rayleigh and all those other ones, they said that, he had his head down. He looked like he was on a mission. Right? Like, he passed them up really quick because he had somewhere else he had to be. And then you dovetail that with Richard Allen being in Peru, Indiana, is how he said it, even though it's a little north of that in Mexico, Indiana, at his mother's house that same morning, where, Keegan Kline lives in Peru. Yeah, I mean, those are some things. I mean, even when I was talking to Holman, he didn't completely throw it out. He just says we don't have any evidence of it. But he too just thinks, man, I mean, what a shitty day that was, you guys. You've got a catfishing account who is communicating with Abby and Libby, and then he even said to me, Holman did, that he thinks maybe the girls went out there that day because they were communicating with the Anthony Schatz profile. Do you guys pick that up in there? Well, that's crazy. So let's see. The Anthony Schatz profile doesn't show up, but some other random killer was there. Or is it possible that Richard Allen is who was supposed to be there as the, Anthony Schatz representative, if you will? Pretty weird, right? Yeah, thinking he might be there. Don't you find that just insane? Wow, maybe he'll be there. Why? Because he must have said, hey, maybe I'll be at the trails. But then there's this other guy there that turns out to be a killer. I mean, I know coincidences, but man, that's that one's almost beyond belief. Yeah. Well, we don't have any more coffees either, you guys. What's going on? Thinking you might be there. Well, you gotta admit, like, that's almost beyond belief, right? Although, you know, coincidences do happen. I always think this one's eerie, you know, watching this video. Because it's not stabilized, it's just kind of... So watch, this is how far it is out there, right? So look at 1, 2, look at all these steps. There's platform 1 way over there. And see, I always thought, because it's 50 feet, that this is where she was. Right here. Okay, now that would be, okay, you could get a better look at somebody. But it's still not like right there, you know. I also like this one because there's nobody else there at all. It's almost as if it's them. I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying. Let's see. It doesn't seem to me he just chose them randomly, or he could have chosen the other girl he saw. Yeah. Yeah, I guess he must have left. No, he's always got stuff he's doing. Alright, but anyways, you guys still want to do the newspaper game? I mean, it'd be a good way to try to help support the channel, get something going here. And we're trying to find other cases that are similar to the, like we started over here, similar to, you know, having two girls abducted, let's put it that way. Ah, geez, Daphne. Good Lord. You guys ready? We'll try to find some similar ones. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, there's a gate there, yeah. I don't know what that means, Lynn. No idea. But we're looking for 2 people, Jessica. Thank you. Let's see. We'll type that one in. How about bodies? We want one that's similar somehow. Bodies found in abandoned building. How about 2? How about that? Abandoned house. And thanks, Jessica. A friend found Donald McNeely, 35, on a sofa in an abandoned house on the 1300 block of South 28th Street. Let's see, how about... I don't think that one would work. All right, who's doing the next guess? Bodies found in an abandoned building. Now there's one behind a building. Behind a city storage building at 3001. Police said that the body was that of a white female of undetermined age. No identification had been made earlier this afternoon. This is Kansas City, 1986, March. Is that the one? That's Missouri, okay. Okay, that's March 14th. They're 15th. A woman whose body was found Friday in a wooded area behind a city parks building at 3001 Central Street apparently had been strangled several days ago. As of Friday night, police had not yet identified the woman whose nude body was discovered at 11:45 a.m. Friday. The body was covered with a board and some leaves when police arrived. She was described as white, in her late teens or early 20s, 5'2", 110 pounds, and with brown shoulder-length hair. Man, that sounds like a Bundy. Police were checking with area law enforcement agencies to determine whether the victim matched the description of any missing persons. Well, shit. Now I'm interested in, let's see, so that was the 15th. Did they ever, I want to know if they ever determined who this was. (3001 Central Street). Let's try that. Maybe that's something they repeated. Okay, this is March 19th. There we go. Kansas City police have identified the woman whose body was found Friday behind City Parks building. Catherine M. Berry, 34, whose address was listed as 2018 Main Street, was identified from FBI records. Police said Miss Berry had been a federal employee and her fingerprints were on file. Interesting. The woman's mother said she also used her maiden name of Catherine Belk and an address of 2319 Oakley Avenue. Police believe she had been living at Main Street address for 3 months. Hey, welcome, Jeremy Pearson. Police were not certain how long she had been dead. So that was, how about this one? Here we go. This is way later. Services were held Friday, March 21st at the St. Michael's Catherine Catholic Church for Mrs. Catherine Mary. All right, let's do Catherine Mary Belk Berry. Don't you guys find this stuff interesting? I do. I'm going to take that off. Maybe I get more. Ah. Wow. All of a sudden this got crazy on us here out of nowhere. Some say mental illness killed Catherine Berry. Her family thinks the system did. Catherine Berry died with her rights on, and that's about all. On March 14th this year, an occasional inhabitant of the Brush of Penn Valley. I don't know. Is this the same person? Is this Kansas City? Yeah, it's 34. The rights she died with belonged to the mentally ill. Catherine, 34, was a paranoid schizophrenic, a sufferer of delusions and hallucinations. It's the same brain disease that doctors in New York say afflicts Juan Gonzalez, the man who slashes and thrusts with an ornamental sword, killed 2 persons and injured 9 others aboard the Staten Island ferry in July. Like Gonzalez, Catherine had undergo treatment for a disorder. That's where Catherine's rights come in. She and treatable mental ill had the right to not be imprisoned in some backward... I don't know, is this the same person? This is weird. It's like a... Catherine Berry. I mean, that's her. Why does it say the execution? Some say mental illness killed Catherine. It's just like her mother, the daughter of a psychotic episode. I don't know, man. I'm not really sure where this is headed here. This is... Let me go back to March. Yeah, I mean, it says she's 34, right? Yeah, that's her. This body was found March. Canal Street will be... Didn't they say she was, like, strangled or something? Hey, thanks, Moofies. Yeah, so let's do the... Behind a city storage building, police said the body was that of a white female, undetermined age. But remember, she was covered with stuff. Who did that? Ah, shit. I don't know, man. Wait, let me go back. What was her name again? It's Catherine. Forward. What was her last name? Berry, right? Catherine Berry. Money, guys. Put in your next searches. Thanks, Moofies. Yeah, 34. And then up here, like I can do that. Then there was August over here. Okay, that's the execution. I wish Catherine Berry were alive today. It's not that she didn't have people who cared for her. She did. She died because, as you'll see in Week's cover story, she was a casualty not just of mental illness, but of a process doctors call deinstitutionalization. I don't know, she just curled up and died over there? It seems odd. The subject of a Star magazine cover story. Well, that's it for that. I'm not going to keep digging around. I don't know what happened to her. I think maybe they think she just curled up and died. So is that it, you guys? Nobody wants to play this? We're currently at 1/4 of a nightly goal, so I haven't been able to give away 5 memberships for a week. Yeah, I'm just trying to find, let's try to come up with wording that comes. Oh, you put one in a coffee? Oh, let me go look. Oh, missing from nature trail. All right, there we go. Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, you can also do the coffees. Let's see, missing from nature trail. What do you guys think we're at for the night? I mean, you guys remember what the goal used to be, right? What do you guys think we're at? Throw a guess in there. I don't see one. Hey, thanks, Spring Lady. Wow. That was one of my favorite players ever right there. Hawks wouldn't mind Soviet Army. A 4th Soviet player drafted by the NBA, Arvydas Sabonis. He was so amazing. By the Portland Trail Blazers in 1986. Crazy, huh? Not sure how that popped in there. No, you didn't throw out a guess there. I found one, since you guys didn't play. 2 teenage girls abducted at gunpoint early Thursday from a teen gathering spot were rescued 100 miles away after their kidnapper crashed his getaway car and was shot to death by sheriffs. Wow. He was hunting, listen to this, he was hunting for a place to kill them and bury them, Sparks said on CNN's Larry King. When 2 deputies arrived, the suspect showed a gun and said, "No way, no way," according to the sheriff. The deputies shot him 7 times. Tamara Brooks, 16, and Jacqueline Maris, 17, were taken to a hospital for checkup. Hospital administrator Peter Bryan said they were coherent, awake, alert, but he declined to discuss their condition. The kidnapper was identified as Roy Ratliff, 37, who had a long criminal history and was charged in October with assaulting a 19-year-old relative, but he was never apprehended. The girls were abducted at 1 a.m. in the Quartz Hill area outside of Lancaster by gunmen who left the girls' dates bound with duct tape. The kidnapper drove off, so they were with 2 guys, and then he bound them up with duct tape. The girls were not friends and had been in 2 vehicles, each with a boy. Wow, so these people didn't even know each other. And he just randomly abducted 2 different girls that were with 2 different guys. The girl, that says the abduction launched a 12-hour manhunt across the Southwest. Well, you guys, how about this? We're 34 short of making it halfway to the low end of an old goal that we used to do, up until a week ago. Is there any way to get there, you guys, all together as a team?
I'm just trying my best, you guys. I don't know what to do. Let me get rid of this Missouri one. Oh, that was that one. Abducted teens tried to kill their kidnapper. 2 girls abducted from a remote teen hangout tried to kill their kidnapper while he slept by stabbing him with a knife and hitting him on the head with a whiskey bottle, one of the girls said. We got this plan. We were going to try to kill him, 17-year-old Jacqueline Maris. Isn't that what we just talked about? Stood outside her Palomade home and calmly recounted. I thought that's one we just went over. I don't know. Teamwork makes the dream work. Thanks, Amber Maiden. Yeah. The dream's been fading fast the last week or so. I'm in a place where I'm not really sure. Okay, here's two that were abducted and released. 2 girls were abducted off of Kenosha Street last night and released by their captor later. Police reported this morning that the girls, both 17, were abducted at gunpoint while walking south on 23rd Avenue near 78th Street. One of the girls told police a man pulled his white 2-door car up to the curb, pointed a small caliber pistol at them, and said, "Stop or I'll blow your heads off." Or down the hill. After he got them in his car, he demanded that what money they had, repeatedly hit them on the head, body, and arms with some type of club, police said. He made them lie down on the floor and in the front of the car. And by the way, you see Amber, how she has those little waves in there? She's trying to encourage other people to help support the channel. The girls asked if they could be let off near 85th Street and 22nd Avenue, and the young man dropped them several blocks away at 85th Street. Both girls were taken by their families to Memorial Hospital, where they were treated for bruises. Yeah, it's kind of a rare situation, though. Here's a 2006. Two girls were abducted by their mother. That's different. What was that one we covered many years ago? It was in a quarry. I bet if I type that in. Edge of a quarry. That wasn't the one. I was just. Three youths and two girls were found at the. They were released. Okay, it's different. Remember, they were like friends. And they were found in the quarry. Is this it right here? The slain, yeah, the Reeker sisters. That's the one. Funeral services were for Mary 15 and Susan Reeker 12 were conducted at St. John's Canisius Church by two Catholic priests. An overflow crowd of estimated of nearly 500 persons attended. Mankind can save itself only by a return to the principles of God. The Reeker sisters. So when was this? So 1974 in North Dakota, is that right? Hey, thanks, Tracy Harrison. At least somebody did. Thank you. Sheriff isn't a suspect. So when was this? So they disappeared September 1974, and this is in Minnesota. Alright, so let's try that. September 1974. Reeker, Minnesota. Yeah, you guys always leave Amber Maiden hanging. It's amazing. Like you almost punish her. It's just... Alright, so this is when they're missing right here. Police search for 2 missing St. Cloud girls. You guys remember this one? 2 sisters from St. Cloud who left their home Monday to go shopping and did not return are the subjects of an area-wide police family and friends search today. Hey, thanks, Ozzy, Tricia. And now we are, where are we at? We are 17 short of half of what we used to always have as the low end of a goal. So that'd be cool. Mary Reeker, 15, and Susan Reeker, 12, daughters of Mr. and Mrs. Fred Reeker. I think we did this. Let's see. Got to have a Reeker E, and I bet it's way at the top. Look at that. Yeah, it's like... This was back before I even started dating, 2020. So we did this in November of 2020. Almost like, what is that? 5 years ago? So there's the quarry. And then the home. Right there. Yeah, these girls lived right there. I wonder if this is 3D. Yep. Right there. So it's that house. Guys want me to do this one? So Mary Reeker, 15, and Susan Reeker, 12, daughters of Mr. and Mrs. Fred Reeker, 224 18th Avenue, left their home at about noon Monday to go to Shopko, a few blocks from their home, and have not been heard from since. So let's see. That must be Shopko, like was right over here, I would imagine. Is it still there? No. But since they lived... Oh, they already I had a pin there. Oh, so... I guess that's where it was, but man, you'd think one of these would be Shopko. Although this is just a few blocks too, so I must have marked it out at one point. When the girls did not return Monday afternoon, their parents began calling friends, but no one had heard from them. Contacts were also made in Little Falls, where Mary is a student. Yeah, this is almost the exact same year as that Hawaii one. Contacts were also made in Little Falls, where Mary is a student at St. Francis High School, but there had been no word from the girls there. Susan is a student at John, the 23rd Elementary School in St. Cloud. This morning, the Reekers heard from friends of the girls who had seen them at Zayre's Shoppers City, and shortly before noon today, the parents were checking with the manager of the store. Thanks, Michelle H. 15 to go. Mary was seen at Shopko at about noon. Tuesday morning, the Reekers thought the girls had taken a bus to Little Falls on the advice of police when they were driving to the police station with pictures of the girls. The Reekers stopped at the Greyhound bus terminal. Remember that one crazy story we covered a long time ago? Where this girl was at home and what was it? There was some guy that was supposed to it's really hard to remember, but I remember there's a red Volkswagen Bug, and the girl, she was like on a bus or something at she went to see, I don't know, it's really strange. Like there was this house or something she was supposed to go look at, but it was a younger girl, so I don't know if I'm mixing. Hey, thanks so much, Holly Evans. All right. Let me get some of these other ones. Ozzy Trisha, Tracy Harrison, and Amber Maiden. What case was that one? Man, there's so many of these really interesting ones that we've covered over the years. God, I wish I could just remember those like that. I don't know if it's that one. This is one where, I remember I think maybe took a bus, and the person was tricked or something. The girl was tricked. They called over there. I think they called the house, and then she went to go meet the person, and then they showed up in a red Bug, but she was told something different. Or she was supposed to meet him in a certain spot, and it was a different type of vehicle, but people saw her getting into this red vehicle, something like that. Yeah, it's so vague. It was a long... Yeah, maybe the babysitter. Yeah, the babysitter one. Yeah. That sounds about right. Like, she was going to babysit for this guy, and I think he even talked to the mother, right? Like, he called the house and then talked to the mother and father, and they were like, yeah, that's cool. That's right, Paula. I think you nailed it. How do we look that one up? Let's see. Girl to babysit. Cold case baby sitter picked up in red Volkswagen. 1980. Okay, is this it? 1988 case, murder suspect arrested. Is that the one? Deborah Lee Atrop was reported missing by her husband. I don't think that's it. This was like a little kid. Yeah, there's some nutty stories over here. Look at this. Like, what's this one? Police announced Wednesday that the killing of a 14-year-old babysitter near 50 years ago has finally been solved. On February 7th, Maria Hansel was found stabbed to death at the home where she was babysitting. The woman who had hired Maria to babysit at the Suncrest Apartments. I think I remember this being solved because I think we covered that one. Do you remember that case? What was the name of that one? I think it is the babysitter one. 100%. Yeah, she was like a teenage girl. She was supposed to babysit, and I remember like something like she was on a bus and was supposed to be picked up in a certain spot, and then it turns out it was a different vehicle than she thought, something like that. And I'm not sure if they found her body or what happened after that. Is that what it is? Let me see. Yeah, that sounds kind of... Did you find it on my webpage? I know you didn't remember the full name just out of your head. Yeah, that's the one. This one right here. There it is, Margaret Fox. Yeah, there was like a payphone, High and Mill Street. That looks like the person. So she hasn't been found since then. Yeah, it was like a kind of a weird. After traveling by bus, so I remember that. I had that right. At the time of the disappearance, 2 of Margaret's top front teeth were missing. Margaret Ellen Fox was last seen June 24th, again, 1974. How weird is that? After traveling by bus to meet a man who called himself John Marshall and had advertised for a babysitting job. So that was Paulette. Was that Paulette that said that, or Jessica? You guys are twins anyway. She was last seen wearing jeans with a yellow patch on the knee, a blue bounce, but it says John Marshall, and had advertised for a babysitting job. Margaret was planning to go by bus to Mill and Main Street in Mount Holly. This is New Jersey. To have an interview with this man. Right, that's what I was remembering, an interview with this man about babysitting his young son. The man's phone number was later traced to a payphone in a local supermarket. Margaret was seen getting on the bus in Burlington, New Jersey at approximately 8:40 a.m. en route to Mount Holly, but she has never been heard from again. Ah, jeez. Just think of that, man. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I kind of want to look that one up again, though. All right, guys, we're only 5 away from half of what we used to have as the low end of a goal. Can anybody do it? Will we make it? Anyways, the Reekers, I'm going to put these back in a folder. I think we should revisit some of these. Just trying to, let's see. Reeker Sisters. I'm just going to store that one. And then, yeah, that's crazy, right? This is September 1974. What was going on in 74? Because look at that one was 74, and then we also have, let's see. Yeah, Bustamante was, let's see. Oh, that one was actually 1975. Okay, but right around the same time. And what was her name again? Margaret. Margaret Fox. That's just the way to do it. That's not a really common combination, I'm sure. Margaret Fox. Boom. 1974. New Jersey. Man, it's a creepy. This one's one of the. It kind of stays in my head. Not in great detail, but it's kind of creepy. This story. I think it was May. Hey, there's Holly Evans. Hey, we got the 50%. Yeah, hey, finally something. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Okay, what's the question? Huh. Let me see if I can find it in my old folders. Go ahead, what's the question? I'm sure it's not one that I can answer, but yeah, I have a folder on this. So where was this paper? All right, here we go. So I do have this was in New Jersey, June 1974. How come she didn't show up now? Did they get rid of that? He sunk. He inhaled water and he sank to the bottom. As soon as your body fills with water, it sinks to the bottom. And then later, with decomposition gases, it starts going to the surface again. Like when I was a swimmer, I used to be a competitive swimmer, and you'd swim and you hold your breath, you float pretty well, but then you go, you let all your breath and you just sink down to the bottom. Just go right to the bottom, because especially if your water's filled with lungs, you would sink. Especially a kid like that doesn't have a lot of fat on him or anything. So nothing weird about that at all. Right? Cool. Let's see, June 1974. And this is, what would the name be in here? Margaret Fox. Get rid of that. Come on. Okay, nah, but look at it, it's not really showing up with the... Okay, maybe that one. Ah, wow, they actually have a picture in here of the phone booth, you guys. Look at that. How wild. And do I have that one? Let's see. Oh, yeah, so I actually have that one. That's one of the ones. So let's see what it says in here. The ad appeared on Tuesday, June 18th. The local paper, it said, babysitters. This is the ad in the paper. Experienced teen girls, love kids, work at your house. Call. There were 2 phone numbers, and there were quick results. A man called the first number in the ad the next morning. He had reached 11-year-old. Oh, yeah, so she advertised herself as a babysitter. Man, that's so wild. I guess back in 74, you wouldn't have... She said, hey, I'm experienced. Teen girls, love kids, work at your... I'll work at your house. Call. There were 2 phone numbers. And there were... I think that's her, right? There were quick results. A man called the first number in the ad the next morning. He had reached 11-year-old Lynn Park of Penn Street. Oh, that's right. So there were 2 different girls that were maybe going to babysit. They both put their names down. And they called this one first. The man asked if she could babysit for him the next day in Mount Holly. And Lynn said she would have to ask her mother. Miss Park said no. She didn't want her daughter to work so far away. So guess what? The man called the second number. This time he reached Lynn's cousin. I mean, look at that. The road, it's almost like just total bad luck for her, but good luck for Lynn Park. But so they both, so you could look at it like this, you guys, if you could pay attention. Lynn Park and Margaret both, they both advertised their babysitting, like, you know, like just looking for work, I guess, to make money or something. And then Lynn Park's mom said no, and she was only 11 years old. So the man called the second number. This time he reached Lynn's cousin. So I guess Margaret is Lynn's cousin, 14-year-old Margaret Fox, who lives only a few doors from Lynn on Penn Street. Freckled face and shy, Margaret, too, said that she needed her mother's permission. Mrs. Fox said Margaret had better ask her father. So the mother said, hey, you better ask your dad. No one is sure if Margaret called the man back or whether he called again. But this time Margaret had her father's permission. She could go to Mount Holly to watch the callers. God, this would never happen today, but she could go to Mount Holly to watch the caller's 5-year-old son. This time, the man instructed Margaret to take the bus to Mount Holly. She should get off at the corner of High and Mill Streets, and his wife would pick her up in a red Volkswagen. See, I remember the red Volkswagen. Margaret wrote down the name, John Marshall, and a telephone number. Later that night, there was a third call from Miss Marshall, and this time Margaret's father, Mr. Marshall, and this time Margaret's father, David, answered. Marshall told Fox that his mother-in-law had died, so the catfisher told Margaret's father that his mother-in-law had died. He would have to attend the funeral, and the babysitting job was postponed until Monday. Margaret was to follow the same instructions on Monday. The voice sounded like a man between 35 and 45 years old, Fox remembers. That was the last time Marshall called. On Monday morning, Margaret I mean, just think how sad this is. Like, Margaret's like, yay, I'm going to try to do adult stuff. I'm going to go do some work, babysitting and being really responsible. So on Monday morning, Margaret took the bus to Mount Holly. She has not been seen since. 2 passengers remember seeing her on the bus, but no one is sure where she got off. Mrs. Fox said the man's wife was supposed to bring Margaret home at 2:30 p.m., but she never showed up. Mrs. Fox called the number her daughter had left in case of an emergency. About 3:30, a woman answered and said there was no Margaret Fox. A woman answered and said there was no Margaret Fox there, but she didn't tell Mrs. Fox she had reached a public telephone. Oh, I see. Outside of an A&P supermarket on Route 38 in Mount Holly. She called again, and this time found out it was a public phone. Well, that's kind of dumb. So, like, she calls this phone, and it's a public phone, and the person answered, said there's no Margaret Fox there. Why not say, hey, this is a public phone? Mrs. Fox started calling people named Marshall, and her husband drove to Mount Holly. Eventually, he went to the police. Since Monday night, Fox, self-employed plumber, has been cruising the streets of Mount Holly looking for Margaret, a red Volkswagen, a clue or something to hang onto. His older sons have joined him in the search and wandered as far as Moorestown and Maple Shade, like the police who have put out a 13-state alarm. They have turned up nothing, and now the FBI is in the investigation. Let's see. When Mount Holly Police Lieutenant Benjamin English heard the name John Marshall Monday, he could only think of his old friend Jack Marshall, assistant manager of A&P store on Route 38, the same location as the payphone. Well, that's weird. So there is a guy named John Marshall who works at the same spot where there's a payphone. So did this person know that there was a person named that there? I mean, that seems like it, right? That's crazy. Marshall was questioned immediately, but Lieutenant English said no connection has been found. I've known him for 25 years. He's the father of 5 grown children. I'm sure he's not involved. Well, that doesn't mean shit that he has 5 grown children. Thursday, 2 FBI agents stopped by the market and spoke briefly with Marshall. I have no idea what is happening, said bewildered Marshall after the agents left. I didn't even know the phone number outside had been used until this morning. I have no ideas, no theories. It's just causing me a lot of trouble. Coincidentally, Margaret's sister-in-law, Ramona Fox, knows Marshall and was a friend of one of his daughters. She also believes Marshall is not involved. Burlington Detective Leonard Burr has been on the case since Monday and says he's gotten very little sleep since then. A lot of 14-year-old girls run away from home, but this is not the normal runaway. That's because it's not. I've spoken with her family and friends. They say she was happy and had no reason to run away. Mrs. Fox feels certain that Margaret did not run away. She had no boyfriend. Well, of course she didn't run away. It's obvious what happened here, you know? I mean, this is... Let's see, what is this one? This is the first article. Girls Margaret Fox. Miss Fox placed an ad seeking employment as a babysitter in a local newspaper last week, according to Detective Raymond. She received a telephone call. Well, we just found out that there was her and her cousin, and she was the second one called on Route 38. Did I get the supermarket? No, that's where the payphone is, I guess. Right at this market, is that right? Route 38 in Mount Holly. It doesn't look too right. Miss Fox was originally scheduled to babysit last Friday, but Marshall called, said his mother-in-law had died and postponed the babysitting job until Monday. He said he would drive her home Monday afternoon if she took a bus out to meet him at the corner of High and Mill Streets. So she must have got off. On Monday morning, Miss Fox boarded a bus for Mount Holly and hasn't been seen since. It's so weird to me that nobody saw anything about, did she get off the bus? She had just completed 8th grade. The description of Miss Fox given by Butterfield was as follows: 5 feet 2 inches tall, 105 pounds. She was last seen wearing a black and white checkered coat, a blue blouse, and red jeans. Anyone with information is asked to call the Butterfield at Burlington City. Yeah, let's see. So that was, this is 2 years later. Vagrant admits kidnap story a hoax. So don't need to read that. 1992. Now they're trying to, this is what she'd look like now. She's not, come on. This isn't one of those ones. I guess it's possible that the guy, there's a couple stories out there where somebody abducted somebody and different people and they were kept alive for years. 18-year mystery near solution. Really? More than 18 years, Margaret Fox boarded a bus in Burlington City for a babysitting job in Mount Holly. The job proved to be bogus, and the 14-year-old was never heard from again. Since that day, June 24, 1974, Margaret's family has held on to the slimmest of hopes of finding out what happened to her. Over the years, there have been reported sightings from as far away as Mexico. So you notice how we're doing these really interesting stories, but we can't even pull in, there's 156 people watching. Doesn't that just make you kind of angry? Like the second you're not talking about Delphi or some of the other ones, everyone just runs away, runs for the hills, because it's just not, who else is talking about Delphi? Sucks. Jesus. With each report, the Burlington City family hopes rose, then plummeted. Police long ago discounted the possibility of her running away and believed she met with foul play. All right. No doubt about it. I think I might make a video on this one. Just a quick, 8-minute video. Study of the skull. I guess recently FBI forensic experts completed a clay reconstruction of the skull. So what's this one? A skeletal remains, a teenage girl unearthed at Atlantic Highlands in 1988 may finally put the whereabouts of Margaret Fox to rest. I don't think it's been solved. What's this? Audio file released? What the hell's this? Is that a different case or no? A ransom phone call to the family of a missing Burlington girl still baffles law enforcement. Isn't that weird? We just had that today. So after 45 years and aided by recent technical advances, the FBI released last week an audio tape. Does anybody can find that? Of a call demanding $10,000 for the return of missing 14-year-old Margaret Fox and making a vague threat against her life. Investigators hope the public may recognize the voice. Is that out there? Oh, this might be it right here. There we go.
$10,000 might be a lot of bread, but your daughter's life is the butter topping.
Who is it?
$10,000 might be a lot of bread, but your daughter's life is the butter topping.
Oh, I already had that call. I had it in my folder over here. Wow.
$10,000 might be a lot of bread, but your daughter's life is the butter topping.
Who is it?
It's like I got a speech impediment.
$10,000 might be a lot of bread, but your daughter's life is the butter topping.
Who was it?
Huh. Well, I guess now we got to see what that was about. The FBI released a tape at Burlington City Hall at the same time the agents announced a $25,000 reward. When was this call made, though? Margaret Ellen Fox disappeared on June 24th, 1974 after she boarded a morning bus on her way to what she believed was a babysitting job. We have never stopped investigating this case along with Burlington City Police and Burlington County, and we hope this renewed effort will produce results that might give Margaret Fox's family some sense of closure. No, there's no sense of closure. Joseph Danahan said, and an FBI Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Newark office said at the joint press conference June 24th with other law enforcement agencies. Danahan said recent technological advances enabled the FBI to enhance the quality of the ransom demand made by telephone to Fox home so it could be released to the public in hopes someone recognizes. Well, when was that made, though? Man's voice. Yeah, it doesn't say, like when that was. It's funny, I'm downloading the audio file. It makes you wonder if they, do they, oh, there it was. Do they check like the IP of who's downloading that? All right. Additionally, the FBI Forensic Lab in Quantico, Virginia has created an age-progressed photo of her. Okay, let's see. Fox had placed a local newspaper ad seeking babysitting job the week before she went missing. She subsequently received... where did she place the babysitting ad? In the paper? Now, what if we could find that? Wouldn't that be crazy, you guys? Should we look for that? Just for a minute? Wouldn't that be in the newspaper? That'd be crazy. I'm not sure why I can't get off of that page. Okay, there we go. Let's see. So, week before she went missing. I gotta find this. Margaret Ellen Fox disappeared on June 24th. So it would be June 1974. And maybe... And what was it that it said in there? Remember it said it? Was it in the second one that we read? It's not clear. Asked if he could... Where was that? Oh, yeah, there it is. Experience love kids. Let's see. So it was teen girls love kids, like that. Okay. So that's actually it's in the same, it's the story, the same one that we're looking at. Babysitters experience. So where was it done? Burlington County Times. Okay, now we know exactly where it was. Here, place an ad in the Burlington County Times. Yeah, let's try this other right here. That'd be a neat little thing to have. You know, don't hesitate to buy some coffees, you guys. Keep things rolling along. All right, right here. Let me just get everything. So we can just go to New Jersey. New Jersey. Is it Burlington? Burlington County Times. The ad in the Burlington County Times. That's not there. All right. Let's try this one. Burlington County Times. Journal and the Burlington County Times. I'm not sure it's even in here. Yeah, right here is the paper name. Okay. Not reset. Oh, there's the Burlington Free Press. I don't think it's in here. Darn it. Let me try one more. Newspaper Archives. That's another one. This is what I do like during the day, you guys. You know. Publications. New Jersey. Oh. Oh, wait. It says right there. It does say West Hampton, Burlington County Times. Is that the right one? Come on. It's in New Jersey. And then I guess the keywords are the ones that we were just looking for. There it is. Teen, how about like experienced? Oh, the wrong years. Well, that's not going to find anything. How about 1974? Nothing. Well, I gave it a shot, you guys. I was looking in the... I wanted to look and see if I could find it in the, like, help wanted or something. But anyways, I think that's going to do it. You guys, I can tell when people aren't really interested. So, alright. Well, thanks, you guys. And we will see you tomorrow. Hopefully. Kami, News Crasher, Linda Dees, Carrie Spencer, Ozzy Trisha, Supa Soda, Walker Homestead, 45 months, Ann Davis, Tom Webster showed up, Tracy Harrison Sass, Ozzy Trisha gifted a membership, Jessica Schubach, Jeremy Pearson became a new member, and then we've got Moofies, Spring Lady, Amber Maiden, Tracy Harrison Sass, Ozzy Trisha, Michelle H., Holly Evans, and Holly Evans. Then, hey, we did have a Cash App right at the end there from Christina. And then, oh, my favorite color, I don't know anymore. I used to be green, but I don't know. Then we have James, Supa Soda, and Jennifer, who bought me coffees. All right. Well, let's see, today's the 27th. We got the 28th, 29th, the 30th. And we're just really struggling here. Do you think next month will be better? I don't know what's going on. But hopefully our donation night goes somewhere. I don't know. I might just say, well, hey, whatever you guys do on donation night, that's what we're sending in. I don't. This month is so low that it's hard to find some of my own. I already did 500. Let's see. What is that? What is that right there? Oh, that's you, Moofies? Oh, well, thank you. Again. Anyways, I hope you guys found tonight's show interesting, at least. What did you guys think? I think I'm going to do those 2 cases again, though. I'm going to make videos on them. And if nobody wants to watch them, well, screw it. I don't know what to do, but... I can just make a video and, 10 minutes long. I'm definitely, my next video, though, is going to be the comparison of the Hawaii case to the Delphi case. I'm gonna definitely go over that, make a video, and see what people think, because I think it's crazy, you know. And then, you know, maybe we'll do, you know, you don't see a lot of videos on some of these cases, like this Margaret Fox case is, I think it's insanely interesting, don't you? I mean, my God, it's like, if that case happened today and you got the same information, it would be huge. I mean, my God, puts an ad in the paper with her cousin. The cousin got called first, and that parent didn't let her, said, well, she didn't want her to go to that part of town. So then the person called her, and just by that fate, and even the father even talked to this guy, and she was allowed to go babysit. I mean, he must have been a smooth talker on that phone. I wonder if the father thinks that the voice he talked to sounds like not the 911 call, the ransom call. I mean, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? So, anyways, thanks everybody. Appreciate you being here. I really appreciate all your support. I know times are tough. I'm just trying to keep things rolling along. Definitely on a pretty severe downturn this month. It's yesterday was the worst day we had in the entire 5 years we've been doing this. Today was, you know, better than the other ones, but obviously there's something going on out there. I don't know what it is. I did talk to somebody. I was actually thinking of possibly getting somebody that wants to be like a producer for my channel. But somebody that's here a lot, but knows the internet, knows, you know, the how to do the, you know, search engine optimization. Maybe knows how to make thumbnails. Know-hows, you know, like Patreon works and all those other things. And, you know, I mean, obviously it'd be a paid thing, but I don't know. I'm just trying to, I talked to one today and they were saying, yeah, it's kind of bad for everybody right now. A lot of stuff. And I go, well, unless you're somebody that's pro Richard Allen, and then you get all kinds of people watching. Or you just keep covering Sebastian Rogers day in and day out. You know. I don't know if there's anybody out there that knows that kind of stuff, but I'm sure there's somebody that watches my channel that knows how to do that stuff. Okay? I was thinking of doing something where it's like a percentage of my show. So like the better the show does, the better they do. And then if it gets to a certain point, I would up the percentage, you know? What does that sound like? What if I did like 10%? And then if it got to a certain point, then I would do like 15 or something. And then I think I'd have to donate less money, though. But at least it'd be more, you know, more than what I could do right now. Like if we, like the way the channels went this month, we wouldn't be we'd maybe do 8,000 a year or something like that. It'd be really way less than what we're doing now. I don't know if we could still do the scholarship fund or the, you know, help identify, or it's just not doable. So hey, thanks Camden Edwards. But anyways, I'll probably make a community post for channel members, and maybe there's somebody out there that has experience, knows what they're doing. You know, probably like a mix between a Zozo, a KK, and some other people. You know, like I don't want to do the stuff where you go out and you, like I don't want to try to figure out. Like I just want to do the freaking videos, right? I want to do the live streams. I want to do the videos. I suck at thumbnails. I've been trying harder lately to make ones that people want to watch, but you know, I suck at thumbnails. I just, you know, I'm good at video editing, I think, but I'm not really a thumbnail person. There's people that make these thumbnails. I mean, shit, they're the dumbest things you've ever seen, but people click on them. You know, going, ooh, you know, hat sideways about like that. Ooh, and you're pointing at the thing, you know. I don't know. I don't want to pay the kind of money they're going to want. I just want to do, like, have somebody that, wants to help, see my channel succeed. And they're, like, somebody that's been watching a long time and likes the channel, and they want to do that too. That's what I want. I don't want somebody, just some rando person. I want somebody that wants to see the channel succeed because they like it. That's the person I talk to. That's exactly what where they came from on the channel they helped out. Yeah, I'm not really. Why would I need a talent agent? I'm just talking about, like, I want to, for YouTube and getting the channel out there. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And, as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, a rejecter. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his spectre. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a tip to fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Correct.